our next partner within the .post group. And it's my pleasure to welcome Ship to My ID and Santosh Gopal, who is the CEO of Ship to My ID. Ship to My ID is newly joined the .post group with a vision to contribute to the development of a digital postal network platform, which is also a very interesting development and very relevant for .post and the .post group. But before talking with Santosh, let's hear from Kush, Santosh, a co-founder, who has prepared a short video for us. So I'll play the video and then we'll come over to you, Santosh.
Sure. Hello, my name is Kush Santosh and I'm the co-founder of Ship to My ID. We would like to start by thanking the UPU and the .post group for giving us this opportunity to present. Along with our CEO, Santosh Gopal, we're here to talk about Ship to My ID's vision of creating one global postal network. Over the last 2 weeks, we have learned from various experts that embracing digital transformation is a must. Post offices should use their existing strength and presence to its advantage. There are several opportunities to create newer revenue streams. Post offices can lead to cross-border e-commerce opportunities while promoting smaller businesses. Post offices should strengthen their relationships with other businesses and e-commerce companies. We have seen several presentations highlighting the need of standards to be established globally and the ask of the UPU to take a bigger role. We are like PayPal for shipping and a lot more. Our goal is to work with every post office and enable them to become a digital data hub for their country. We can enable shipping to anyone without the need of the recipient's address. We can ship to any cell phone number, email, social ID, or even a digital username. We would enable post offices to create a unique lifetime digital address for every citizen. There is no need to worry about change of addresses and every location is GIS enabled. We want to create newer revenue streams that were not possible before. The slides ahead can provide more details. Our goal is to work with UPU and enable a common platform to manage data and transactions globally. The future of shipping may simply look like this: a QR code or a barcode, or an alphanumeric text. There is no language barrier. Each transaction will have a unique QR code. This QR code can contain a lot of information about the transaction. Based on who scans, they will see restricted information about the transaction. It can contain recipients and the sender's digital contacts. The scan can reveal images of the delivery location, instructions regarding parking and gate codes. The QR code can store information useful for automatic sorting. Every scan can generate an alert that consumers can track. Depending on the location of the scan, a label with the regional language can be printed. It can contain a lot of transaction details, including product details, tax codes, VAT calculations, customs, insurance, etc. Providing global unique lifetime addresses is the foundation of our platform. It is in line with UPU's vision of address for everyone. Every citizen will get their unique addresses. People can move to different locations, but their digital address remains the same. There is no language barrier, and every address is GIS enabled for higher accuracy. As packages are associated with people and not tied down to locations, the number of lost packages will be minimized. Recipients will have control on what comes to their home and be on top of each transaction. All citizens will interact through their post offices. Only post offices will have the right to convert a digital address to a physical location. Our goal is to grow existing businesses and generate newer revenue streams. In further slides, we will talk about how post offices can generate newer revenue streams from third-party addresses and identity validations, using their post pass, and how to generate more money from e-commerce for cross-border transactions. By providing all compliance services, the direct marketing and mailing platform will provide substantial growth in revenue. Let us dive deep on identity and address validation. For legitimacy of every transaction, validating an identity is very critical. Banks, Payment processors and businesses all want to validate the identity of the consumer before enabling the transaction. Ship2ID can validate consumers in real time. Several transactions like employment verification, bank loans, driving licenses renewal, etc., need address validation services. Fraud and data abuse is a big factor impacting our e-commerce industry, especially for cross-border transactions. One of the largest verification requests would come from third-party logistics like FedEx, UPS, DHLs, and local courier companies to aid their deliveries. Post offices can make money from each of these verification transactions. On average, an online user registers on 20 to 30 different websites where they provide their personal data. Online data sharing is one of the biggest causes of identity theft, data inconsistency, and threat to privacy. We would like to enable every citizen to create their unique post pass, which is like a universal login. Each login will have multi-factor authentication. By using PostPass, consumers can transact with every website without ever sharing their personal information. Consumers can also control what pieces of their information can be shared to the merchant during every transaction. Post offices can generate money for every login, validation using PostPass, and this will also strengthen the relationship between e-commerce companies and businesses. Pandemic cross-border transactions have grown to more than $1 trillion in businesses. They have the potential to double every year if we remove some of the top challenges described below. Currently, less than 0.001% of online stores are enabled for cross-border checkouts. Ship2ID can enable every online store to do cross-border checkouts. There are more than 150 languages and 200 plus address formats, making it extremely difficult to validate them. Ship2ID can enable a cross-border transaction without the need of recipient addresses. Lack of consumer identity and address validation leads to higher fraudulent transactions. However, Ship2ID validates the consumer locally and minimal data is sent to the merchant. No PII is shared to the merchant. The latest EU VAT legislation and US STOP Act compliances are mandated. Ship2ID can offer payment settlement, distribution, and compliance services. A digital marketing and mailing platform could be one of the biggest new sources of revenue. As you can see in this app, consumers can control all the transactions based on what they want, when they want, and from whom they want. From our early stage clients in the US and India, we have seen the conversion go up 20 times the normal. The best part is that no consumer PII is needed. That means there's no need to share names, addresses, and digital contacts needs. Yet, our technology will allow a brand to have a lifetime consumer engagement. When a match happens, a QR code is generated and sent to the brand. The brand can obtain demographic information and no PII. Privacy is maintained at all levels. Post offices can use this platform to revolutionize direct marketing and can make money from every match and paid transaction. Ship2ID is an API-based cloud platform that can integrate with your existing applications and vendors. Ship2ID will engage with post offices in each country and offer white-labeled services. Ship2ID is open to put skin in the game by subsidizing the costs and offering engagement with revenue shares. Ship2ID aspires to become a partner of the UPU and offer its global platform for each country. Each country will have its own instance, and they will collaborate with other countries via the UPU. Thank you.
Thanks, Kush, and thanks, Santosh, for joining us today. Thank you for preparing that video. It was good to hear from Kush about this exciting new innovation. Santosh, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Great. So let me just follow on from that. And there have been a few companies in the past that have tried this digital addressing approach, but there haven't been really strong uptake with it. So why do you think your platform is going to be different?
Paul, I think thanks for the opportunity to present. And what you asked is a really great question. Yes, there were several companies like What3Words and Google Codes, Plus Codes. What they've done traditionally is they map the physical location to a digital identity. They just made addresses look simple. In reality, We deliver packages to people, not to locations. Locations just happens to be a point in time. So imagine looking at your own email and cell phone. If you are supposed to get email only in one location or in only one place you can get a cell phone connection, it'll be so difficult. So just like that, because cell phone is connected to you, not to a location. So with Ship to My ID, we change the fundamentals of shipping where we associate a person to a digital identity. They have a choice to pick up a real location where they're standing, or they can designate a fixed location based on the rules. They can say, if it's friends coming from friends, ship to my home, and this is where my home. The idea is to keep privacy very important. Nobody would know other than post office where the physical location is. When people change, their address remains same. So if I'm shipping to Santosh GK, doesn't matter where he stays, the post office can map and deliver to right location, and people don't have to worry about change of addresses. So our entire platform has been built with this premise that people are more critical than location. It could be 5 people in one location, they all will have digital different addresses, and they can move away and stay in different locations. The packages will follow them.
Okay, yeah, very interesting approach. And as you mentioned, with mobile technology now being prevalent, particularly in developing countries, then there's a number of different ways of addressing people now.
In fact, even if you do not have a cell phone or email, your username could be unique. So there are several places in Africa and Asia, still developing countries, where they may not have structured addresses. All we need is a physical location, somebody going from post office, taking a snap of GIS, associating with their identity card or driving license, or even for matter, the username, and that becomes a permanent address. The face itself could become a password. So you don't need cell phones and emails for everything, but this could be our vision of giving one username, which is digital ID for life for people.
Great, yeah, and I think two really interesting partnership proposals from both companies, from Ship to My ID and also from StampStack. Within the .post group, it's great that we can have these discussions with the private sector and the .post group members about exploring implementation of these digital platform approaches. One of the things that I found common for both of you, both Santosh and Andre, I'll bring you back into the discussion, is around the business models that you're proposing, which are very modern and relevant and up to date for the world that we're living in now. And upfront investments are always challenging for posts in developing and deploying digital. And your business models seem to address that quite well. So maybe back to you, Andre, your business model, what's the compelling message about your business model?
Well, yeah, like you mentioned, Paul,
You're on mute, Andre.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, so the first one, and I think like you just mentioned, an important one to consider for the posts is the investment and the cost of joining basically the business. The business model that we offer for the NFT philately is definitely taking care of that. There is no investment from the post side. More to say, it's I would say a very stable, sizable profit line. And in addition to that, and I'm sure you will confirm that since our more than 1 year ago first conversation, is that the offer that we put on the table is for the posts actually to participate also in the governance and development of the project via the blockchain specifics, I would say, of the business, which allows more or less automatic participation also in defining how the product can be developed, how the community can be managed, etc. And again, I will reemphasize, this is the key, the crucial element that we think we really want to deliver this and get into the minds of the whole postal community, is overcome the fears and actually get united. And with this, the creation of the biggest digital collectibles marketplace is possible. And once again, I would say in the formula that we offer, we are intending our role to keep as the market operator, which means basically the majority of the decisions and the profit gains from the revenues obtained within the NFT philately activities will be directed towards the posts and the philately communities.
Yeah, very interesting, Andre. And from both a low or no upfront cost through to new revenue generating possibilities. It's a very interesting world and a nice benefit of partnership models. Santosh, also you have identified new revenue streams that you see from this digital platform. Do you want to explain more about that?
Sure, I'll be very happy to, Paul. Thanks for the question. So essentially what we have seen is we've spoken to more than 30 plus CEOs. The bubble cost of implementation is always a fear. What happens if you're not successful? Where is the money coming from? And so we built a platform over the last few years to cater exactly that. Essentially, we're a SaaS platform. We can integrate with APIs with any existing post office. Technology implementation could be not that expensive. Our goal is to provide one instance of software to each country, and we'll work along with post office to roll it out. And there's a proper roadmap defined in terms of low integration to start with, quick money coming in, and then how do we increase the value chain? So essentially, our goal is we make money when you make money. And each post office is very well suited because they have the best, their best company to deliver in each country. They have existing people, they have existing resources, they have a good brand name, and we'll come as a white label. So post office doesn't need to, if consumers don't need to know who Ship2My is, but essentially we come through post office app. So essentially we are connected, and we'll make sure that all the programs are rolled out. And when it comes to one global network, you will see a lot more cross collaboration, a lot more money coming in. And each of the post office in our view could even gear down to billions of dollars, new business, and everybody in the company will start depending more and more for post office for data. So our goal is to, yes, of course, we do want to make money, but making money for post office and then taking a slice of it is what is our goal and aim.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Santosh. I see the time now, so I just wonder if there are any questions from the audience before we wrap the session up. I don't see any in the chat. There's been a lot of very positive comments in the chat from participants. So thank you for your interest in this topic. Within the .post group, as I mentioned, we are really keen to develop this partnership discussion with as many companies as possible. As I mentioned, we've already had 10 private sector partners in the .post group willing to support the development of digital platforms. Both of our partners today, supporters, have mentioned security as being a foundation of their solutions, as being one of the common themes of their interest in the .post group, and also it's a fundamental